I got a question for you, Nelson.
Mm.
Because now you could correct me if I'm wrong, but literally your job is remapping negative behavior or thought patterns or ways to communicate. So like you like a subject matter expert kind of when it comes to that. Like you don't know of any studies that would be relevant to site or something that would like drive the point home that maybe none of us are aware of.
Now, most of my knowledge in that area is based on personality disorders. So, I study how the mind works that way, and how a lot about how manipulation takes place and gaslighting and things like that.
That's propaganda. That's literally propaganda though.
It's true.
Hey Nelson, I got a question.
Yeah,
You said the generation is getting dumber, right?
yeah,
What if someone said the generation is not getting dumber? That technology is changing the way we define intelligence. So the things that you would make you dumber back then, it wouldn't equate to the mindset of now with technology now. It's a new way of thinking. So the old way of thinking is gone. You get what I'm saying?
yeah. Um, I hear what you're
So,
saying in that.
so basically, the things that would make you smart in the past wouldn't make you so smart now. Things are changing so fast in that direct in that way.
Yeah, I do. I agree with you. I think we're growing in knowledge, but I think that we're losing foundational pieces that we need in terms of like freedom and understanding what freedom means and how to fight for it and things like that. We're losing that. So we have every form of knowledge right at our fingertips. We can Google anything, but like for instance, people there was there's a content creator who is currently going to court because he he spoke on another content creator on his personal stream and said that this person is this person's like a dangerous person. Y'all shouldn't follow this person because they're spreading a lot of misinformation. That other content creator went and filed an order of protection against him. And you would think that because no threat was made or anything like that, a judge is going to look at that and just throw it out. But no, that person's actually going to trial because there's no longer an understanding of our basic freedoms and what we're allowed to do. So it's just, I just think we're losing a grasp on some foundational principles.
No,
I
so I
agree.
agree with that because there's so many things with like just I mean I understand that socially we've changed, but a lot of younger people don't they just lack social skills, basic social skills. It's acceptable in today's society for men to just not know how to change a tire. I think it's weird. And we just don't even understand how close we are to like Walking Dead, right? And I know this is really going like over the edge, but you got to think about it. Our electrical grid has already been under attack, right? If anything, right? If you're looking at the way that if you believe in climate change or whatever, but or the ice caps melting and what it's doing, right? Uh, anything, right? Currency could collapse. If currency collapses, the way we know the world is over, right? We become primal again. There's so many things that could happen. One war. Everybody has nuclear warheads, right? We get one of those, we're back to the Stone Age. If we get a natural disaster that's crazy, right? We're back to the Stone Age. So there's so many things that could happen that could just revert us back to where we would need these basic skills that are like not saying like I'd say it's at least possible, right? We could debate whether it's probable or not, but there are many potentials out there that are very dangerous that could happen and revert us right back to the simple life. And we would need those basic skills at that time. That's why you see a lot of survivalists that are packing up their stuff. There's a lot of people getting a whole lot of ammo, right? There's a lot of people who were packing canned goods, water. You look at some people's basements and it looks like a supermarket. There's a lot of people who are preparing for the potential that is really out there. So, I feel like if anything does happen like that, eventually this world is finite no matter what. The sun eventually has to burn out. There's so many things that could go wrong or that will definitely go wrong at some point that someone should be prepared for it, right? But at some point, we might be faced with the reality where we have to know how to survive. just off the land. We might not have to know how to plant food. We might have to know how to do certain things, right? We might have to have ingenuity again, right? And I think that it's a good idea to at least teach your children that. Like when I show my kids, I show them how to change a tire. I show them how to build, to put a shelf together, just certain things, just so you can kind of be mechanically inclined. And I think that a lot of us are missing that.
So hold on, Marcus. Hold on. I just want to get into this next video, and then we'll still, whatever you got to say, we'll get into it. I just want to make sure we stay on course as far as time. But AI targeting kids.
Ways have you seen where technology is really targeting children in that capacity?
Oh, let me not get sued. I would say first and foremost, the data that these companies collect on your children in violation of privacy laws. So I'd say do not expect, just because there's a rule that says that a company can't do X, Y, or Z, that they're going to obey it if there's no real accountability measures. So recently, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, which is really the only government body that's like going after tech companies for messing up with their algorithms, they came after Amazon because Amazon and their little Alexa system was keeping copies of children's voice recording without permission, even when people had asked that they be deleted. And they kept copies of those voice recordings and even lied to the FTC about how long they had kept them for. You know what their punishment was?
What's that, a fine?
A $25 million fine.
Pennies.
Now, Europe got it on lock. Europe literally just today, I think they fined Apple $2 billion for anti-competition. They'll slap Apple with a $2 billion fine. They'll hit Google with a $6 billion fine. We don't do that here. So just understanding that, like, when you're using any always on technology, that's what they call it, always on. So you got your phone set to listen to Hey Siri. That means she's always listening to you. She might only respond when you say, Hey Siri, but she's always listening to you. Your Alexa, same thing. Any of those voice assistants, all of those things are always recording you. So if you don't want your child's voice being used to make their algorithms better, or God knows what them people doing with that data on the other end, why are you keeping children's voices? That's creepy to me.
Yeah.
You could put it in a data set and then train the algorithm and then delete it. Why you got it for months and months after? I don't know. I don't trust it, right? So if you don't want your children's voices being subject to these things, like their actual literal voices, then you got to turn those features off. Now that does come with inconvenience. I like being able to yell at Siri and tell her to do something, but I don't want you.
I think it's what you was talking about, right, Trev?
That's exactly what I was talking about. I never saw this.
You to have my voice all the time.
Right.
I don't want you around when I'm having conversations about my feelings, or when I'm having conversations with my mom about, her health. Like, you don't need to hear that. You don't need to keep copies of that, right? So turn those features off. The other thing is with social media platforms in general, especially like your YouTubes, your TikToks, your Meta, your Instagram. It's about the ranking and recommendation algorithms. So you always hear like the recommendations, the algorithm, the feed, if you will. Ranking and recommendation works in two ways, right? So you have, in order to recommend what you should watch next or what you should see next, there's two things that go into that. So it's ranking and recommendation. So the first is that they assign every item in their whole like database of items a score, right? Based on your profile and your preferences. So your profile is like, oh, I speak English. So they're not going to recommend all the Russian videos to you. Or like, oh, I'm based in San Francisco. So if you like sports, they probably might pop up like the Giants or the Warriors for you, right? So they take this kind of your static data that you give them about who you are. And then they take your preferences. So that's what you've liked, what you've watched a long time, what you've commented on, what you've shared. That demonstrates to them that you prefer this kind of content. So once they use those two things to assign it a score, then all you end up seeing in the recommendation is a list of those items based on what's got the highest score. So you as a parent have to be constantly double checking what starts to come up on your child's feed, because it's not like you set the content one time and it's going to keep your kid safe. If your kid accidentally...
I'll tell you one thing, man. I know some people are lazy, but you guys got to make sure you monitor what your children are watching. I think she's making some good points. Hopefully you guys will take this information and it will be able to benefit you and your household, especially with your kids. Monitor what they're watching and what they're doing on their phones.
Like some videos. Maybe one day they watch something, they're angry, they start liking those videos. They're going to get more of that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can undo that by going into their likes and unliking the videos and downvoting them, right? So actually monitoring and maybe like once a week checking in on what's starting to show up on your kid's feed so that you have a way to control that. Another thing is actually using the children's settings on these apps. Like, don't just let your kid go to youtube.com and be open to a corpus of terrible things. Like, they have settings inside of there where you could set, and you could also set, it's like a spiciness rating thing on YouTube where you could be like, yo, I want my kid to have like no spicy content. Like, only come on here and watch cartoons. I don't want nothing that could be controversial. I don't want them going down no political videos. I don't want them going down no natural disaster videos. You can actually go in and shut that off, but that's on you as the parent to make sure you set that profile up, make sure you configure it. So I think it's a combination of one, actually being involved in your children's process of consuming media, because these algorithms update based on every video they like, based on everything they dislike, based on everything that they comment on. So what your kid was watching 3 days ago might not be what's on their feed today.
Right.
And it requires a little more oversight. I know we feel like we ain't got time and energy, but it's critical. Because otherwise, your kid gonna end up going down some Andrew Tate rabbit hole, developing toxic masculinity, and start screaming at you as the mama or as the parent. You feel me? And so, like, it's necessary to watch. And
She went off track there.
I know she's gonna rub y'all the wrong way.
You know it's gonna rub me the wrong way. I don't want your son to be masculine and to be a man. No, I don't want that.
Yeah.
You need to have.
She had me right before Andrew Tate comment right there. She must have just watched the clips.
You could have cut the last part out.
Which means that even though she's educating everybody on the PSYOP, it's working on her, as far as I'm concerned.
True. True.
It's working on her.
She
even
developed the
even
bias.
Says she don't mind, she loves the convenience of speaking to Alexa. So, you know, I hear what she's saying, but
she even
this
bought
speaks
into
to Kenny's point. This speaks to Kenny's point. It don't matter that you have choice in a lot of things. If I can get deep enough into your brain, then I will make you choose something that you otherwise wouldn't. So even though you have free will to go left or right, you're only going to go right because I got in your mind to make you decide to go right. Whereas if you had the real information, you would have went left. It's real crazy, man.
Yeah, but Shan, I think that in order for someone to exercise choice, they have to know that's an option for them. Right? I think we say a lot of times most people are sheep. So most people don't even know that a choice one way or the other even exists. So to that degree, you kind of are being controlled. It's the illusion, like when you every brother on this stage is highly intellectual. Like not so much, right? I went to public school in Chicago, right?
Did too. I went to public school.
You guys are really, really smart. I think that it's the illusion that you have a choice until you, what is it, the red pill or the blue pill? Shane? I don't know which pill it is. Till you awaken to what the reality is.
You think you can make, you think you get to, you think it's left and right. You think it's only two choices or a fork in the road to go two ways.
Right.
Until you realize it's motherfucking highway. You can go 5 ways.
And here's the thing, Shan, it's called radio programming, television programming. Those things exist. That's all part of the propaganda. That's part of the PSYOP. I have a difference of viewpoint around the Diddy conversation. The kid stuff, my kids are grown, but I still find it necessary to monitor what they take in and just have check-ins with them in terms of what they're listening to. I don't have as much control over what they watch in that regard anymore, right? I mean, Ladybug graduates in May, so it is what it is. They have to make their own decisions. So you can only hope that you've taught them to critically think for themselves. And that's the piece that's missing. I don't know who or what Nelson was saying, that our children, or as we get more smart, my grandma says stuff like, "You so smart, you dumb." What does she mean by that? We have all this access to all the resources, all the technology, all the information, and still lack the basic fundamentals to make critically thinking, observation skills, so on and so forth, right? So I'll land the plane there. I just think that ultimately, Shan, that power of choice is the I'm not as a conspiracy theorist as you all are at times, right? But whoever these people are that make you think you have the choice to go in there, they're programming you when you're driving your kids to school in the morning. They're programming you when you're at work and you pop them headphones in and you're listening to your favorite radio station. There are plenty. I do not like Ja Rule for nothing. But I guarantee you, if we at the club and the chorus comes up,
Would I be without my baby?
I'm on mute, man. I'm going on mute.
Again, you make great points. Sorry about that, Hank. Let me just throw this in there real quick. And Pavlov's dog, the tuning fork. The dog have a choice to eat whenever it wants to eat. It has a choice, but it's conditioned to hear that sound, or it will not eat. It will starve until it hears that sound. You have a choice, but if you're conditioned